Hello everyone, I'm Tim from Tim's PC and I build custom PCs to suit anyone's needs or budget. I also live stream my builds and repairs for transparency and educational purposes. So if you would like to get an awesome new PC and you'd like to see it get put together live, send me a message today. Alright, so tonight we've got a bit of an exciting one, I would say, given our X570 Aorus Xtreme motherboard, which we're going to get to. So this particular PC, its main purpose isn't really going to be for gaming. It's just someone who wanted to get a really good PC. They do a lot of photo editing, a little bit of video editing, and a little bit of gaming, but not primarily gaming. Mainly it's for just for ordinary office type use, but with a bit of gaming on the side and photo editing and all that kind of stuff. So we'll go through the components here today. So starting with this one up the back here. So we've gone with definitely not the worst graphics card you can get, but definitely not like a 3080 or even a 3070. But like I said, this particular customer, its primary focus isn't actually gaming. So this is a pretty good, like, you know, mid-tier sort of gaming card right now in 2021, and this will stay relatively current for the next few years at least. So I'll put this one down the side because it's the last component we're going to install today. So we've got this is a 500 gigabyte Samsung 980 Pro NVMe SSD. So this is one of the Gen 4 SSDs, so this runs at a faster speed than the Gen 3 500 series chipset boards, and same with AMD. It's AMD 500 chipset boards that are compatible with PCIe Gen 4. For our memory here, we've got 32 gigabytes of Trident Z. This is 3600 megahertz CL16 memory. So this is really fast, really low latency memory here. This will complement this build. For our CPU, we have the Ryzen 5900X 12-core 24-thread CPUs. CPU, I should say. This is, what I was thinking of is, this CPU is one of the most desired CPUs in the world right now. Everyone is trying to get their hands on a 5900X right now. Some people have waited quite a long time to get their 5900Xs. So luckily for this customer, it's been purchased because, like I said, a lot of people have been struggling for a while to get them. And so we've got a couple of WD Black 2 terabyte hard drives here, so there's going to be plenty of space here. These are 7,200 RPM drives, I should say, so these ones read faster and write faster than conventional mechanical hard drives. For our power supply here, we've got a 750 watt gigabyte GM750, which is a modular power supply here. It's got enough juice to power this beefy motherboard, which we'll get to soon. And we've got a Fantex Evolve X case here, and we're going to be cooling our CPU with a Thermaltake TH360 liquid cooler. So I think there's also, where have they gone? I think there is also some additional RGB fans to be added to this build. Yeah, here they are. Right here. So we've got some 3-pack of 140mm, total of 7 RGB devices, not including the RAM and not including the motherboard. Alright, so let's get into it. So this is it. Look at this board, look at this motherboard box. It's huge. What do we get inside this packet? Oh, very nice. The box only comes out this far. It opens up like a chest. Has this plastic. Looks not the right way. So there's our motherboard. So we got some Aorus Go Faster stickers. What else have we got in here? We have Aorus RGB Commander. This will be some sort of an RGB hub, no doubt. Oh, look at that. Very nice. Here is all of our cables. What have we got here? Oh, these are conversion cables for our hub. We've got a sync cable for our hub. Oh, USB 2.0, essentially riser cables. Cool. SATA male to female. Cool. Sensor pins and some Velcro straps. Information. And what do we get in here? This looks a bit more conventional. CD. I might be eating my words. Some more temp sensors. Just throw an extra few of them in. Oh, and we've got, oh, very nice, sleeved SATA cables. 6 of them. My favourite little adapter. Put that around there for safekeeping. Is that a Corsair to generic 5 volt? 12 volt extension. And another extension, and the official Aorus Go Faster badge. Just let me know in the comments if you want me to put any of this sort of stuff on the case, or you want me to include it for you. What else we got here? The Aorus Wi-Fi antenna. These are good. These are magnetic. When the plastic's not getting in the way, they actually stick quite well. Yeah, like I said, when the plastic's not getting in the way and this isn't the strongest, yeah, they sticks way better on the back. Oh, sleep it. One as well, just in case you need a second one. What else we got here? Oh yeah. Okay. That's a front panel riser. We've got M2 screws. What's this? Huh. We get a little Aorus USB stick. That's kind of nice. Well, you got this box of stuff, so I'll be leaving most of this stuff in the box, and I'll be stashing this inside the computer for you. I do really like that. It's a little Aorus USB stick. I don't know what the capacity of it is. No CD drive, which is good. Sorry, no CD disc, which is good. We don't need that. Alright, so a pretty exciting motherboard. They certainly give you lots of stuff in this massive box. So I'll put that back for now. Okay, away. So now the motherboard. So it comes in this nice packaging. Okay. So I'll just get rid of this little bit of plastic here. Doesn't look like there's any other plastic. Alright, so look at this motherboard. Now, I'm pretty sure even to the untrained eye, you can see this is a pretty, pardon me, expensive motherboard. Get rid of that as well. So starting at the top here, we have two 8-pin connectors for our CPU. So not just the 8 plus another 4, we've got actually two 8-pin connectors for our CPU. We've got a fan header up here as well, but look at this cooling on our MOSFET, VRM, coprocessors, etc. Look at that, it's actually got heat pipes that go down here to the chipset fan, which is under here. That's how robust the cooling solution is here. We've also got two CPU fan headers, the main one and the optional one. We've got our 12 volt RGB, 5 volt RGB, and two temp sensor headers. We've got dual channel memory, so channel 1, channel 2. And then what else have we got around here? We've got this panel here is a post indicator LED. It shows the actual postcodes, so you can look them up if you've got a post error. We've got a USB-C front panel connector there, which is good, and you probably can't really see anything. There's nothing there, it's just all on the side. So we have, what's that, 5 fan headers there, just ordinary fan headers. We have our 24-pin ATX power header there. And we've got front panel connector. We've got a 12 volt RGB and another 5 volt RGB. What is that one? Not sure what that one is. There's a little protector in there. Oh, I'm kind of curious. I'll have to look that one up. Anyway, we've got 6 SATA ports here. We've got USB 2.0. We've got 2 USB front panel connectors there. We've got an LED header. We've got here, so we can load different versions of the BIOS up on this board if we have to, for compatibility with different setups. And along the bottom, there is nothing else along the bottom because all of that stuff is along the side there. So what we do have is we have lots and lots and lots of stuff under here, which we're going to get to. I'm gonna take all this off just so you can see the rest of the motherboard here. But what you can see here is obviously there's how far are they? The bottom one's an X4. The second one's an X8, and this is an X16. And then around the back here, So I've got high quality audio here. We have 10 gigabit Ethernet, and what's the other one? Doesn't say, so the other one might just be single gigabit Ethernet. We've got a total of 8 USB 3.2s, including one Type-C. We've got Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.1, 4 USB 2.0s. We've got a clear CMOS button and a flash BIOS button around there as well. And that's all you can really see on this board so far. But we'll take some of this stuff off so you can see the rest of it. I can't find my screwdriver. Sorry about this, people. I've misplaced my main screwdriver. Alright, is this going to be the right profile for that? No. And while I do this, I've got to think about where I put my actual screwdriver. So here is one of our M.2 slots. So we're going to utilize that for our NVMe SSD here. Oh. Alrighty, so as you can see, we've got a couple more M2 slots there. We also got a fan that we can't actually see there, but it will be under there. So all X570s have a active cooling fan. So around the back here, we've got this nice reinforced backplate on it. So it makes it nice and easy for me to handle it without getting my grubby fingers on the back of the PCB there. And so that pretty much covers everything that is on this motherboard. So all the audio stuff's still down there where it normally is and whatnot. Everything else is the same. It's just where that particular where that header is, it's actually over here. So I don't know how they've routed that or what they've done, but they've done something. As for my screwdriver, can't have gone far. Alrighty, so here's our Samsung 980 Pro NVMe SSD, and I will need one of these offsets. And we will insert our 500 gigabyte SSD. Just sort of slot in on an angle, just like that. And there is just a little tiny screw. You gotta have the right size screwdriver for this. So I've had some bad experiences where I've misplaced a screwdriver, and so now I have these two backup screwdrivers. So they're not as handy as the other one, but it'll get me going in a pinch. So there is this bit of plastic. Make sure you remove that. Oh. Okay, and so we're not going to be using these two M.2 slots yet. So we're just going to leave those plastic covers on it. I only took this off so you could see how it all comes apart. I should probably check the comments because my wife isn't with me, so she can't read out what people are saying, and I just get focused on the build. Oh, it's just Don. Hey Don, good to have you active in the comments there, mate. No dust. It's too nice to have dust on it. Alright, so we've got our M.2 NVMe SSD installed. Now we'll install our memory. So, obviously, people call this RAM. RAM is the actual chips on the sticks. The sticks themselves are called DIMMs. So these are dual inline memory modules. And that's why they got the little divider in the middle of them. They're dual modules. It's not that there's memory on both sides, because you can get single-sided DIMMs and dual-sided DIMMs. So that's a common misconception with people. They're like, oh, yeah, I thought I needed DIMMs, but then this stick doesn't have memory on one side. That's fine, because the modules are split like that. You can just have them double-sided or single-sided. In this case, we've got obviously, I think. Yes. For a second there, I thought we had 32s. I was like, 32s. I don't remember spending this much money for this. This is... There we go. There we go. Our memory's installed there. We get a little G skill go faster sticker there. Alright, so some would argue the star of the show. Ryzen 5900X. Alrighty. Here's our little Ryzen 9 Go Faster sticker. And here is our CPU. So these CPUs are very delicate because they have the pins on the bottom of the CPU on this design. There's other designs of CPUs where they've just got touch pads on the bottom, and they're obviously a bit more robust. You can drop them on the ground and they'll be fine. So I'm just going to have a quick visual inspection of the pin. I don't want to have a couple of pins slightly bent and then go to put it in and bend them more. Experience has told me just have a quick look around and just make sure everything's lining up. That looks pretty good to me. Okay. So we've got this one down like that. So we've got our CPU there installed, got our memory installed, got our SSD installed. So we can now turn our attention to the cooler. So, where's the cooler? Here's the cooler. Alrighty. So you might have heard me call this an AIO liquid cooler, and what that means is all-in-one liquid cooler. So it means that it comes from factory as a sealed loop. So it doesn't require any maintenance. What will happen after a few years of solid use is the pump will eventually start to... But until that time, you're fine. Alright, so we've got... Okay, so we've got that sort of configuration. So we are going to have to remove this standard AMD mounting hardware and backing plate. Okay, so to make our own AMD backplate, we're going to have to line this backplate here with this plastic foam stuff. I don't know how to describe it better than that. I think even though that's a crude way of describing foam stuff, that makes a fair bit of sense to people. We all kind of know what plastic foam feels like. Certain things come to mind when you say those two words in combination. And so we just put this down here on this side here, which is the AMD side, just so there's no metal contacting the motherboard. And interfering, there's no plate to take off on the back to put this plate on or anything like that. Sometimes it can be challenging depending on the motherboard that you've got. So here is our mounting hardware. Nice. Everything all in one bag. Just the way I like it. Not. Alright, so we just put these bolts through. They are like 270 degrees doesn't fit, but there's one particular 90-degree flat and flush down with the plate, and then you just slide on that plastic washer, and that'll hold the bolts in place. Alrighty, there's our back plate. So put that down just like that. go. So one thing that's important to consider is how the cooler will be mounted in the case. And so I would probably mount it something like so. For that, I want the cables of the fans coming out towards the back, because I want to hide all of these cables away so we don't see any of them. Okay. So if you can get the corners in, it's nice and easy. There we go. That one just doesn't want to go in. Alrighty, so I've got our fans prepped. Now we can turn our attention to this cooler block. So it currently has an Intel mounting bracket on it. and we're going to replace with our AMD bracket. Just like that. I'm going to remove this bit of plastic on the bottom of the cooler block. And we're going to get some thermal compound. There we go. Now we can mount our cooler. So the only thing to consider is where you're going to be running your cables. Oh no. I didn't put my feet on. Yay. So the purpose of the feet is so you don't over tighten the screws. Potentially over tightening could crack the motherboard. That's why you got to be very careful when you're if you're doing any manual mounting where you've just got like a random secondhand cooler and you're gonna like Frankenstein a computer together with parts, which is good fun. Sometimes you have to do things like that, and in those situations it's really important to consider how much force you are tightening down your CPU with. So potentially using some sort of a torque wrench might be a good way of gauging it if you don't have these. How tight is tight. Good. That is nice and firmly attached to the motherboard. So there we have it. There's our CPU. Here's our cooler will sit on top of the motherboard there, mounted to the top of the case, I should say. And so that is all good to go. We have prepped our motherboard, mounted our cooler. So now we can turn our attention to the case. Go faster stickers. No, no one's commenting. Not many people watching tonight. So we will definitely be utilizing these fans. Put them down there for safekeeping. It's power. Alrighty. Oh, a bit of plastic over the top of our power supply. I hate how they cover everything in plastic. Okay. Here is our modular power supply. So it has 5 CPU PCIe powers, 3 SATAs, and of course motherboard. And if you want the power specs on this power supply, this is a 732 watt power supply. Well, that's what it puts out on the 12 volt rail, rated at 750. But it also puts out obviously at like 105 watts on the 3.35 volt rail. So that's about all. 61 amps on the 12 volt rail there. Okay. A few cables. We've got 2 SATA hard drives here. And we will need SATA power for some other things, I do say, RGB, etc. Or maybe we can get away without it. Let's see. But we'll definitely install at least 1 SATA cable. So we'll plug in our main ATX power. So we'll need at least 1 graphics card power cable. One end is a solid 8 pins and the other one is this 6+2 pin connector. So obviously we want to plug our 8 pin side into our power supply here. And we'll probably plug in the extra graphics card cables because they could come in handy. Just and then we're going to need 2 CPU power cables. One and 2. And then how many SATAs have we got? 4 on each one. So I'm thinking just the one will be fine. Alrighty, so just left with a couple of cables left over there. So there is our power supply prepped. Now let's have a look at this case. So I'm pretty sure these ones open up on this. I'm always sketchy on these tempered glass panel cases because when I've forced them, the front comes off just like that. Aha, couple of screws. Look at that. I don't think these doors are meant to come off. Oh, hang on, here they are. Sweet. There we go. I'll put this panel down here as well. So we can have a close look at this case now. We've got a dust filter there. So we've got 3 non-colourful fans. So let's fans to go in. So I'm going to drop So we're going to drop this first fan down. How far down? Way down. Okay, and so we'll remove this fan. So around the back here, we have these cable management panels. So I do like those cable management panels. All right. Very fancy. Oh, these screws off. Alrighty, got our first RGB fan there installed. Oh, look at that. It actually fits the 140mm fans, 3 of them. Unlike that. What case was that? Be Quiet. Didn't even fit their own 140mm fans. Alright. I mean, that Be Quiet case wasn't a big deal. I just grinded a fan down. Like the outer part of it. Yeah, it's a hard mod, and I know I don't like typically sell PCs that I do hard mods in, unless it's specific request. But shaving a fan down like that to make it fit is something that no one, 100% of people have always been like, yeah, do it. Get the fan in there. As long as it doesn't look like shit. Ugh. Alrighty, so we've got all our fans installed there. Now we'll install our power supply. It's got one of these plates on it. So all I've got to do with this plate is just screw it down and then fasten in the screw bolts. Go. Alrighty. So I believe in this Fantex box here we have hard drive mounting trays. Nice little box of Fantex screws. Go. So that's these trays here. They give us 2 extra ones there as well, but we won't install them. It's just easier with the cables. We only need 2 for our 2 drives. Okay, they give us in here. Yes. Alright, one side. Yeah, so I was saying before, these are WD black hard drives. So these are 7200 RPM drives as opposed to 5400 RPM drives. And basically what that means is you can read and write data faster off these compared to regular hard drives, which are the 5400 RPM ones. So obviously rotation rate of these drives is heavily linked to the read and write speeds, because it's reading it off a physical disk. Okay, so now that we've mounted our drives in the trays, you can now bring it down to the case.